Hi, Ken here. Bit of a serious video now. I want you to stick with me until the end if you can, and we might all learn something new about this very serious topic. Do you live alone? I do. Are you alone 24/7? No phone calls, no texts, no one knocking at your front door. That's me, unfortunately. Do you ever say to yourself, I think I have enough, it's too much? Sometimes, yes, I do. And you have to be honest about this, right? What a lot of people don't understand, there's three types of being alone all the time, right? Three types. First type, type 1, probably about 5% love being alone, love living alone all the time, being on their own, nobody around them. I find that impossible. Anyway, then there's a second type of people living on their own and being alone all the time. I can't stand it, can't hack it, absolutely hate it. That's me. Type 2. And how we get into this position, I'll explain to you in a few minutes, and I'd like to hear your answer. Then there's the third type, type 3. People who live alone, they're alone all the time, but they're afraid to admit it. Now, I have a lot of friends, and funny enough, most of them are male, that live alone. And they're always down and out, but they won't admit it. They will not admit it. They'll say, yeah, brilliant Kenny, love it. Love it. Never thought I'd be alone, ever. Absolutely, best life. But behind it all, I'm after finding out they're all lying. They just won't admit how life can be and how lonely it can be when you're living alone. Especially if you're after bringing up a family. That's the second part I want to get to. First of all, age has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do, you see all these videos on YouTube, in my 40s, in my 50s, in my 60s, living alone. Age has nothing to do with it, right? That's a fact. I'm 55. I've had a great life. I've been in 2 relationships. My first one started in 1990. Lasted 20 years. I had 4 kids. Ended in 2009. My second relationship started in 2014. I had my 5th kid. He's 10 now. Coming up 11. That ended in 2022. If you want to go back to my video about how I became homeless, which I made last year, it explains everything. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about being alone all the time, on your own. Nobody to talk to. It is very hard. Very, very hard. And you look back at your life, like I said, and you think about all the things you've done, all the places you've been, all the money you've had. How did I end up like this? Living alone. Now, there's millions of you in the same boat. We know that. So this video is not just about me. I'm just giving you my insights into how hard I'm finding life living alone. I had everything. But there's one thing I always grew up with. I was told by my mother, God rest her soul, no matter how much money you have, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing unless you're happy. Now if you're in a position like me, we'll go back to type 2 where I mentioned the 3 types of living alone. Go back to type 2, back to my type. Who admits that I find it very, very hard living alone. 5 kids, 5 grandkids, no contact whatsoever. Why, I don't know. I probably said it in previous videos. Maybe one day everything will work out. But with the last 3 years, no, totally isolated. And you have to admit, like I'm admitting, it can really, really get you down and put you in a bad place. You have to be honest about it. If you're not honest in this life, you're wasting your time. I always said it years ago, if you're asked a question, tell the truth. Because if you're asked the same question 2 or 3 years later, you won't have to think about the answer. It'll just come straight out of you. That's why you always tell the truth. But anyway, back to the video in hand, right? I don't really care what anyone says. Living alone and being alone all the time is very, very hard. If you're human, it's very, very hard. Don't care what you say. You can pretend all you want, this and that, you love it. I dreamed of this all my life. People that haven't got kids and family, that's a different category altogether. But if you're like me, which probably most of you are, and after raising a family, and suddenly you find yourself all alone, you cannot tell me that that's easy, because it's not. Not one bit. And all it does, right, we'll say I'm probably one of the strongest people you ever met in your life, right? Anybody watching this video that knows me most of my life knows what I'm on about, right? Always as tough as nails, great scrapper, have a wicked name in this town for fighting 2, 3, 5 people together and walking away a winner. That don't mean nothing. I'm just telling you the kind of life I lived. It was a tough life. I had the best of cars, the best of jobs, big 50 grand Jeeps. I had everything. My own house. And you wonder, you still get up and wonder every single morning, how did I end up like this on my own? Now this is no bullshit, this is no bollocks. Like I said, if people are watching that knows me, I've never ever done nothing wrong to anybody whatsoever. My worst enemy throughout my life, believe it or not, was being too nice to people. And that's a fact. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this can contribute to that, The more you do for people throughout your life, the less you respect it. That's a fact. And we learned that the hard way. But getting back to living alone, being alone all the time, every day, 24/7, family, friends, siblings, everything, no contact whatsoever. And you wonder what you've done. You get up every morning, you sit at your kitchen table like I am now, you drink your coffee or your tea, and most mornings you're just staring out the window, out into the back garden. And this is facts. Anyone who's in my position knows exactly what I'm on about. This is facts. You do get down. You do get very fucking down. You stare out in that back garden, sipping your coffee, smoking your cigarette, and you're wondering, will someone contact me today? That's the stage I'm going to anyway. Will someone contact me today? Will someone knock the front door? You're staring out in that garden, feeling as low as you ever felt in your life. And sometimes you just drift off into a daymare, I call it. Not a nightmare, a daymare. You just drift. And you wonder, what the fuck have I done? What have I done to deserve this? Being totally alone all the time. Doesn't make sense. Does that make sense? Now I live in a small town in the Republic of Ireland. Carrick-on-Shore, I'll name it. No problem whatsoever. The last 50, 60 years, it is voted one of the roughest towns in Ireland for some reason. You go to Waterford, you go to Clonmel, you go to Kilkenny, you go anywhere, and if someone asks you, where are you from? And you say Carrick-on-Shore, they'll stand back. I don't know why, for some reason. It's just mental. Absolutely mental. But going back to staring out that window and wondering what has gone wrong, why. You see, the worst thing in the world you can do is lock yourself away. And I've done that for long enough. Lock yourself away into the house. Don't want to talk to anybody. Anyone in my position can actually relate to this. This is what stress does to you. Stress can do hundreds and hundreds of different things to you when you're down and out and lonely like that. Stress can be a killer. Can be a killer. You don't want to go out of the house. You're so down. Some days you don't even want to do the housework. I'm living in a lovely little 2-bedroom house now, thank God. Like I said in previous videos, I was homeless for 21 months. That was tough. But I'm in my own little two-bedroom house now, living on my own. I have five grandkids living in the same town. I could walk down that town tomorrow to do my shopping, whatever. And I might meet one of my children. 4 of them are grown up now. They're all in their 30s, and my youngest is 10. But I could meet one of them, one of my kids, in a supermarket or whatever. And they'll come up to you and say hello as if nothing was wrong. But still, they have my number. They know my front door, they know where I live. Now I know 2 of them are very, very strongly bonded with their mother. That's my first ex. 1990 to 2009. Still no excuse. Still no excuse. I done nothing wrong to their mother. She done wrong to me. The same as my second relationship. And they know that. My first 4 kids know that. They've been told. They've been told everything that happened over that 19 years. We'll take one incident. Go back to 1990. Sorry, 1991. 23rd of April, 1991. I met my first ex in March 1990. She got pregnant and she had my first child, which was my eldest daughter, April 23rd, 1991. I remember when she went into labour that day, we were living in a mobile home. No running water, no toilets, no electricity. That's how hard it was back then in the early 90s. And I went on to bring 3 of my kids up in that caravan. I brought them up in that mobile home with no running water, no toilets, no electricity, and they were happy as fucking Larry. And thank God they grew up to be fit and healthy. Thank God for that. But going back to the 23rd of April, this is just one example. I'm just going to give it to you quick and move on. 23rd of April, 1991. My ex went into labour. I rushed her up to Clonmel Hospital. She had the kid after about 5 hours, I think. My first daughter. So I drove home that evening, back to Carrick, back to the mobile home, like you do, like all spouses do. Clean clothes, napkins, towels, all that kind of thing. It's a true story. I'm a big believer in God. I can raise my hands and swear on my kids' life, my 5 kids. This is no bullshit. I drove home. A couple of hours later, I went back up to Clonmel with all the clean clothes, all the new clothes we were after buying for the kid, towels, nappies, wipes, whatever was needed. I'd done this for 2 days. It was probably the same today. I think they keep in for 3 days. They did back then, back in 1990s. They always kept a woman and child in for 3 days, exactly 3 days. So I done this for 2 days, running up and down. And there was a girl beside her in the bed. That came out wrong. There was a girl in the bed beside her that was after having a kid the very same day as my ex. And they got friendly. Fair enough. That's what people do. Everyone should be friendly. But what I didn't know, I'll get to it now in a minute. Right, the third day came along. I went up to collect my woman and my daughter. We arranged the time, 3 o'clock. I walked into the maternity ward. The bed was empty, everything was gone. So I called the matron. And I gave my ex's name. I said, "Does she have to be moved to another room or something? I'm here to pick her up." And she said, "No, she left about 3 hours ago." I said, "What?" Now she came from a very big family of 17. She was a half travelling woman. Her family was half travellers. So I drove back to Carrick thinking that one of her family was after calling up and bringing her home while I was on the way up. Right? That wasn't the case anyway. What happened was, and when I've told people this over the years, I've actually had to tell, seemed after growing up, I told my 4 kids this story. Not to hate their mother, but just to let them know the truth. What happened was, the girl from Clonmel that was in the bed beside her had a few family members coming in to visit her as well. And one of them happened to be a male. So anyway, to cut a long story short, he started chatting up my woman. Now imagine this. You'd never hear anything like this in your entire life. Your woman and your very first child. She got up out of the bed that day, got dressed, got everything together, and moved in with this stranger into a flat in Clonmel, an apartment. You'd never hear the likes of it in your life. It took me 2 days to find out. The cops now were involved, so I didn't know where she was. But that was tough. You wouldn't hear the beatings of it. You would not hear anything like that in your life. That's the worst thing that could happen to anyone. But it happened. Right, that's just one of probably 50 incidents that happened within that 19 years. But I'm not going to go into all that. Right? I'm going to go back to my 4 kids that I had with that woman. About living alone. As I said, I could walk down to town. I'd often meet one of them in a shop, a supermarket, whatever. And they'd come up and say, "Hello Dad, how are you? How are you keeping?" And there's 2 of them still living with their mother. And there's 2 of them have their own houses. But the 4 of them have their own children. Right? And they'll say things to you like, "Why don't you call up to the house sometime to see me and whoever, my grandson, my granddaughter, I won't mention names." And I feel like saying, I'd be straight up about it. After raising those children, giving them the food out of my mouth, working 7 days a week, out in the fields, picking vegetables. I done door work the weekends, bouncing, we call it here. I done store detective, security, I done everything over the years. Then I went into gardening, doing patios, building walls. You name it, I done it. But I'd be actually, I don't know why, when they say that to me, she'll call up to the house some evening. Now these are the 2 that obviously have their own houses, not the 2 that's living with their mother, so I couldn't call up to their house. But anyway, and I'm probably a stubborn fucker, but it comes into me head, but I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it to their faces because I love them, they're my children. But I'm meant to say, why the fuck don't you come up to my house? What's wrong with my house? You know where I'm living. I'm here now for 2 years in this house. And the 4 of them have only called once a few weeks after I moved in, just to see what the place was like. That was it. So, you go back to living alone, you're on your own, 7 days a week, 24/7, no texts, no knocks on the door, no phone calls. Dad, how are you? I've 15 siblings, brothers and sisters, and I probably have up to 80 nieces and nephews spread all over the place. Carrick, Waterford, Clonmel, everywhere. Never hears anything from any of them. I got to a stage where I turned off that thing on Facebook. What do they call it? Your activity. It's an activity, they call it, when you're online. That thing that shows up when you're online, the green light. I got to a stage where I turned off that and thinking to myself, well, they're going to see now I wasn't online with 3, 4, 5 days. Because I'm always on Facebook. Not now, but lately, the last couple of years. Don't bother with it anymore. Couldn't give a shite. But I was always on Facebook, telling a few old jokes, putting up pictures, this and that of the kids and whatever, myself. Well, not myself, but myself and the kid. But, and I'd always get an old text off someone after about 3 days. Might be one of my friends that I know with 30, 40 years. Might be one of my kids. Asking how I was doing. Because I wasn't online for a while, you know what I mean? See, the way people, and it's after happening to a good few people around Carrick over the last few years that's like me, living on their own. Such a pity really, but it does happen. They pass away. They pass away. Whether it's drink or drugs, heart, whatever. See, this is what anxiety can do to you if you follow the wrong path. You'll either hit the drink, like I did for the first 2 years. Like you'll hit the drugs. Thank God I never touched them. And then you're in a worse hole than I'm in. You're in a bad place then. But yeah, a lot of my friends and a lot of people I know have been found dead in their houses, in their bed or on their couch. And they've been there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Why? Because nobody called around to see them. Nobody checked up on them to see how they were doing. And that's probably one of my biggest fears. If it never happened. We all know things can happen. Slip in the shower, fall, trip, whatever. Just not right. I know people that never touched drinking drugs. They just died in their sleep, never woke up. So that's my biggest fear. Of people not calling around and being alone all the time. I'm only 55, I have a good few years to go, yes, and hopefully things might change, but I don't want to be found like that. I'd sooner someone calling once a month, once a week, anything. You know what I mean? And I know there's millions of you, millions, in exactly the same position. And the only thing you can do is talk about it. Don't hide away. Don't stay quiet. Don't lock yourself in the house. your health will deteriorate, sorry, very bad with those big words, but you know what I'm on about. You'll just get worse and worse, down and down. Like I said, you don't want to go out, you're staring out that window every single day. You don't want to go out for your walk. Some days you're so down you don't want to clean the house. You don't even want to get in the shower. And that's facts. That's what happens here when you get into that state of anxiety. And I said previously, anxiety can bring on hundreds and hundreds of different things that's not even wrong with you. Now, when I gave up the drink, and funny enough, I had it very, very bad yesterday and today. So I googled it, like my doctor does. My doctor's a waste of fucking time. Dr. Google, they call him. So I googled it anyway. Couldn't stop scratching, itching. Now normally you get it when you give up drink, I don't know anything about drugs, but when you give up drink, alcohol, it messes up your sleep, your meals, it messes up everything for a couple of weeks. You twist and turn, you can't sleep, you're itching, you're scratching. But with the last couple of days, it's so weird. Like, we'll take one instance. I was standing at the sink there today, doing some washing up. Single man, don't have a dishwasher. So I was standing at the sink, old style, elbow grease, doing a bit of wash up, plates, mugs, frying pan, whatever. And this is happening for 2 days. You think there's things walking up your legs. So you lift up your tracksuit straight away, check, there's nothing there. I have a little problem at the front of the house with ants. I get them all these houses get them every summer. Hundreds of little fuckers. But that's what it feels like. There's something walking up your leg, or your back, your hair, your face. You actually feel like there's some little bug or tick walking on your skin. But there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Now give me a second, because I wrote this down today when I googled this. Formication. Formication. That's what it's called, formication. It's all in your head. It's anxiety. Anxiety brings on everything. Stress, paranoia, palpitations, pains in your chest, pains in your legs, palpitations in your legs, your arms, your fingers, your face, your head. And thank God I've learned to beat that. I've learned to beat it. Because at the end of the day, you just have to turn around and say to yourself, the fuck all around you. You're just anxious. And don't go down the road of medication for anxiety or stress, because you'll never come off it. You will never come off it. That's the wrong road. Use your brain. You will be very, very surprised what your brain can do if you train it properly. That's facts. But anyway, that's my video on living alone, being alone, sick of being alone. Nothing I can do about it at the moment, unfortunately. I tried everything in the world texting, ringing. Every time I ring, they're not at home or they're doing something. I just can't figure it out. So in the end I just give up. I'm probably a stubborn old fucker. But I just give up. And I said, look, and you're probably better off doing the same thing. Instead of getting into stress and anxiety. I just ended up saying, look, I done fuck all wrong. They know where the front door is. If they want to call over, they're welcome any time, day or night. They know that. But getting back to the point of this video, and I'll end it then, sorry. And I hope you bear with me this long, because everything I've said is facts, and if you're going through the same thing yourself in life, and I don't know why one of my fucking eyes look bigger than the other. I've seen that with a lot of people wearing glasses. Strange. But anyway. Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's hard living alone. It'd be different if there was someone calling. Especially your own kids, your grandkids. Geez, I have 2 grandkids I don't even fucking know. I don't know him. I wouldn't know him if I seen him. To so long. I think my eldest grandchild is 15 now. Do you know, it's wrong. If you done something, yeah, put your hand up, admit, say yeah, fuck it, I deserve that. So when you've done nothing wrong, this video, people, is just for every single one of you out there that's living alone and about to fall into that dirty hole that is very, very hard to get out of. Depression, anxiety. You can do it. Sit down, have a good think, and you can do it. And like I said in previous videos, the first thing is to get out of the fucking house. Stop looking out that window, like I did. Wondering, what have I done? What have I done wrong? Why do I deserve this? 55 years old, 5 kids, 5 grandkids. Love them all to bits. I don't deserve this. But unfortunately that's life for some of us. That's the way things go. And it'll hurt them more in the long run. When I do end up up in the graveyard, whenever, 5, 10, 20, 30 years time, nobody knows. None of us know what tomorrow brings, what next week brings. But there's no point in your own kids showing up at your grave the day you're getting buried and saying, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have been there. Too late. So if you're living on your own like I am, and you have kids, you have family, do everything in your power to stay in contact with them. But that's all you have. I could keep rambling on for the night, people, and tell you millions of stories. 100% true stories. But I'll leave it at that. If you watched till the end, which I doubt you didn't, just rubbing the dust off my laptop there, sorry. If you watched till the end and liked my video, liked what I said, you don't have to like the video. I'm not monetized. There's no adverts, cost you nothing. But I'd appreciate an L sub, a like, a comment. Tell me your experience. Nobody knows you on YouTube, remember. You don't know who you are or where you're from. So feel free to comment on any of my videos and I will answer every single one of you back. Okay? Till my next video, stay safe and God bless. Kenny, over and out.